Hey there, Alex here. Welcome to another episode on Sweet Spot Soul. I want to talk about how magnificent, like how big and how cool this journey is when you really grasp, again, high level, what this is about. This is about your ascending your frequencies, literally growing the oscillation of your core resonant frequency from a lower harmonic, which is a lower station of identity in the 3D, to a higher one, and to a higher one, and to higher one. This is called ascension. We are ascending frequencies. And that means that we are accreting more of our 12-strand DNA. We are reintegrating parts of us that we have fractionated, basically, and we are healing our perceptions, and we are meeting incredible soul family from all different angles, all different ways, like different aspects. Okay. And it's all like now, because now is the time that the whole planet is also ascending into these higher frequencies. And it's just an incredible journey. And all of these twins are now meeting in this last 20 years, especially because we are like the forerunners, right? The forerunners of this whole movement of moving from the 3D to the 5D and above. These lower dimensions, which are directly tied to our lower chakras and our ability to perceive, to higher levels of perception, which are the higher chakras, and those that are connected to the earth and to the cosmos, which are also parts of our DNA and ways of perceiving. So we're able to travel to all these different dimensions. And we notice this, especially when we first meet our twin flame, right? Because the twin flame actually holds all of well, pretty much all of the codes along with yours that fulfill the wholeness of the 12-strand DNA. And so for a bit there, you don't always hold on to them the whole time, but you start to gather more and more and more. But when your fields blend in the beginning and that trinity is formed and they phase lock together, in other words, they energetically in the quantum realm become locked together into this trinity of the polarities of the feminine, the masculine, and the source. Okay, that trinity. And so when that happens, you experience the all, like literally that multidimensionality, the amazingness, the God, which is you, that you share with the twin, that you're able to reflect fully with each other. And then the polarization happens. So that's part of the journey. I'm not going into all of that now, but it's what that flavor was. Okay. Now, what I want to talk about here today is just about these different levels of the soul, of our being, I should say, of our self, from the highest level to where we have downstepped into this physical body in the 3D. Because again, we are moving from 3 strands, pretty much 2 to 3 strands of DNA that's activated, up to 6 strands, and then up to 12 strands. We're moving up, but originally it started from the top down. So I just want you to get a sense of how many incarnations you actually have of yourself in different time vectors in the parallel universe and here, and how this kind of works just from a high level. And why is because we are meeting so many aspects of ourselves, whether it's, like I mentioned this in the last video, whether it's, a soulmate, somebody who shares a lot of the codes with you, whether it's your soul tribe. These are people that also you share codes with. That when I say codes, I'm talking about the different pieces that put together and weave together our DNA. You meet these people that are part of you. And some of them are actually like literally they could be even other incarnations of you on a different timeline. It's just incredible. It's like really wild. I don't need to go into really specific details, and it's really hard to grasp anyway. It's really not even something I think that's really explicable. It's more just nonlinear. But this much I can say. When you start way up at the top so we're actually in a 15 not strand, but basically the code of our time matrix, our time sphere matrix is 15 dimensions. It's not just 12. But the 13, 14, and 15 are just sound and light fields. Okay, so they downstep into our 12-strand DNA, which is where we can actually house in a physical body. Now, that body changes at the different levels, the different stations of identity. And there's basically like there's just a different, what would you call it? Like a lock between each of the different levels. So there's 3D, then there's like a kind of a lock between that and the next level, which would be the soul level, right? So right now we're moving from the 3D into this soul level here. And then there's another sort of lock that we need to go to jump into the oversoul level and then up into the avatar level. Okay, and then above that again was 13, 14, and 15, which are the sound and light fields. Nothing physical going on there. Now down here, we're fully carbon-based. Then we move into partially carbon silica, then we're more silica, and then we start moving even lighter into crystalline. So we get lighter and lighter as our oscillation goes up, as we accrete more DNA. And this is what our journey is about, guys. This is why I want to share this with you, because it's absolutely an incredibly fascinating thing. And it's to understand that, like, literally this body, we are learning how to release the things that are keeping us from being able to house our higher stations, our higher identities, our higher aspects of ourselves. So let me just share this with you, and then I'm going to keep this simple. All right. I tried to do this the other day, but I put too much information in there. I just wanted to share a little bit about these different incarnations that we have. So again, when we come in let's just say we start here at the avatar level, everything comes in 12s, and I'll go into this in another video. We downstep from source into 12. It's kind of like a little clock. And then of those 12, they downstep into 12 each, and then downstep into 12. So what that looks like is from the top, okay, we've got, this is the sound and light fields that we can't see here. It steps into avatars, okay, 12 avatars. This would be the first physical beings, right? 12 avatars. Now, what's an avatar? That would be like Jesus Christ, Krishna. Basically, let's look at it this way. 12 different incarnations of the top level of this whole self, I'm sharing this also so you can see the unity. So you can see that we're all one here, okay? This whole self, the first step down would be into the avatars. Now think about it, 12. How many religions do we have? Approximately 12, right? And there's one avatar pretty much that was at the top of each of those religions. And they each hold a specific portion of the truth, right? Maybe not the whole truth, but they all have truth within them, right? Isn't that interesting? Just something to think about. Well, it takes 12 avatars to create the whole 15-dimensional reality, right? Or not so much self. And yes, there's other universes and all that. We're not going to go into that. There's even a parallel universe to this. So you have a feminine and a masculine literally phasing together all the time, the parallel and this reality here, which is not a conversation for today. So down steps from source to 12 oversoul, or 12 avatars. Now those 12 avatars each also downstep, each of them 12 oversouls in that oversoul matrix. Now, again, there's 3 in each of these, right? Because there's a positive, a negative, and source, like a neutral, okay? A 0 point, a void point that they phase through. So in that avatar section, there's the Buddhic mind, there's the Christ mind, and there's the nirvanic mind, okay? So those 3, one's neutral, one's feminine, one's masculine. That's that matrix. Oversoul matrix. And we've also got 3 here. I won't go into the details on that, but one's positive, plus, one's minus, so feminine, masculine, and then one that's neutral, and that would be the oversoul level, okay? So 12 oversouls make one avatar. 12 oversouls make one avatar. 12 avatars make one full self, which is the whole. All right, then we've got the soul matrix. So one oversoul downsteps into 12 souls each. Okay, 12 souls. Again, I'm going to go into the different 12, like how they look in terms of which one's the twin, which one's a soulmate, which one might not be, that kind of a thing. So we'll go into that in another video. But nonetheless, 12 souls become, I'm sorry, the oversoul down steps into 12 souls. Okay. This is harmonic universe number 2. So yeah, this HU stands for harmonic universe 4. There's those 3 harmonics in there. There's 3 harmonics in harmonic universe 3. That's the oversoul matrix. And there's 3 harmonics in the soul matrix. Okay. This is 4, 5, and 6. This is where that video I did called You Pushed Out, linked in the description here. It has this symbol. Okay. It's basically, I had this ring designed. Isn't that fun? With the 4, 5, and 6. Okay, because this is really a big part of our journey, is to reintegrate into this matrix here, which then allows us to be with our twin, who also reintegrates into this matrix here, which is incidentally the Merkaba. We'll talk about that in another video. I have them down here. Each level of these is a different level of the Merkaba. But I just want you to know that there's 12 souls that make an oversoul, and then that of the 12 souls, each one of those souls also downsteps into 12 personal incarnates. It's called an incarnate, which would be the 3D. Okay. An incarnate is a person who has not yet moved into the soul matrix yet. We are moving right now from here up into here. Most of us live in the soul area, in the heart chakra. Okay. These are the 3 lower chakras, and this is the heart chakra. And so that would be our personal matrix down here. Okay. Mind, body, and the subconscious, mental, and emotional. Okay. That's down here. So personal, soul, oversoul, and avatar. Now get this. The personal matrix here, there's actually 12. The person in the 3D actually has 12 incarnates of itself that are considered possible incarnates. Isn't that crazy? Possible incarnates, which means kind of like an animal who has not yet developed their etheric mind, right? We haven't developed the etheric mind yet, the etheric brain, excuse me, which means you're down in the absolute lower parts here of below 200 on the scale. That's the possible incarnates that haven't embodied soul yet. It doesn't mean that they're not a person, right? It doesn't mean they're not a body, but they have a hive mind in the sense that they just go with the thoughts, the group thoughts. It's the group think, it's the hive mind, because they are just tuned into that collective. They're not independently, they have not individuated yet into the soul. The soul has not embodied yet. And so that doesn't happen until you reach 200. And in fact, David Hawkins' work, he goes into this, that again, until the level of 200, courage, this is all service to self, more egoic, more and more narcissistic, right? By nature, lower numbers on the scale in terms of the measurement of the scalar waves. But then right here at that courage, that it's a neutral kind of point where you then start to move towards service to others. The etheric brain is born. You're now starting to connect with source. Okay. And then that just grows. So between that 200, we move in through the soul, the D4 level, right, at the heart. We start moving through that and then into here. But I just wanted you to understand that down here, those possible incarnates, that would be considered, I think on the last one I called it backdrop people, because that was the first time I ever heard it, but they're called non-player characters, NPCs. And the thing is that when you're in those lowest station of identity down here, you are susceptible to disembodied lower astral beings to be able to come right in and use that body, that uninhabited by soul body, to do whatever they need to do, feed. And what they do is they can attract, they are attracted to the light, right? So you're a twin, or most likely a twin at least. And that means that they're attracted to the light. And so this is where karmics, toxic karmics or like narcissistic types literally are like feeding on your light. And so these are disembodied beings that come in and inhabit very unconscious, possible incarnates. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, I just thought you just chew on that for a bit. And we will talk about, a bit more about some of these behaviors, what is actually narcissistic and what's actually your twin that's trying to push you to elevate, right? Because they can be very, very similar and yet very, very different. And so it can help you to understand what's going on and what's really something that you should move away from, or, if you're on the journey and need to just learn from it. Either way, you need to learn. But I wanted you to just get this landscape for a minute, just to understand, like, just between the oversoul. So we are actually going back to the oversoul with our twin. We first have to bring ourselves back out of just the lower, just the personal self, move into a complete whole balanced soul in inner union, okay, up into this area here. And then that can merge with the twin once the twin goes through their process of coming into the same space. And then you can merge with your twin, and that's where you share the oversoul. So that would be like oversoul twins. Isn't that cool? So anyway, I wanted you to get that. And also this oversoul downstepping into 12 souls, and then those 12 souls downstepping into a personal matrix, into the personal 3D, is 144. 12 times 12 is 144. So just from the soul oversoul level, there's 144 incarnations of you on 6 different time vectors, which we'll talk about in another video, and including the parallel universe. Just, they're not all twins, but they are incarnations of you. There's going to be one that's your divine counterpart, right? But just understand that, as a hint, the oversoul, each oversoul can have its own twin. Each soul has its own twin, primary twin. Each personal could even have their own twin. So there's these different kind of layers, but you're only going to meet the one that's going to bring you from where your soul agreed you needed to go. And because there's no time or space, these are just the past lives or the other parallel things. This is what we remember when you start to accrete that DNA and you open up those higher dimensions of perception, because you literally are moving straight up this entire scale here, all the way up. We could to the 12th dimension. Again, this is what we can embody in this body. This would be that avatar level here. All right. So you're going from the possible incarnate to an incarnate to into the soul matrix, and then into the oversoul matrix, and then into the avatar matrix. That's how this works. And all of it can be embodied in this body and in this lifetime. But depending on your own contracts, if you needed a twin, you met your twin on one of those levels. Okay. And there's only that one, but there's all these other dimensions. There's all these other possibilities. I mean, all of these different stations of identity and all of these different subharmonics in each harmonic universe has possibilities like crazy. And so the downstepping creates more and more and more and more people in your soul family, more and more people that can be a twin or whatever, and play these different roles in helping us to put ourselves back together again and ascend again. And that's the age we're moving into here with Age of Aquarius. It's just, isn't it wild? I just wanted to share that with you guys because it really is a fascinating concept when you get it. And in some of the next videos, I'm going to share a little bit more about the Merkabas and like what that's about, because I have it on that whiteboard there, the different Merkabas at each different level. Like, what does that mean, right? And why is that important to us, right? I think this is important just to give you a larger scope of possibilities to help us to let go of the narrow focus of just the 3D. Like, we can't, the possibilities are so much greater and so much more endless and so much more in your favor than trying to move things around in just the projection that's happening in the 3D, because the 3D really is just a hologram. It's a hologram of what's real, which starts at the soul level. This is where it really, really begins. This is just the vehicle that is animating in this arena. So I'm hoping that this helps you also to see some of the unity. We're moving into unity consciousness. And when you recognize that just one avatar has that much possibility in terms of incarnations and then offshoots of those incarnations and more and more. And then there's, still other avatars that have theirs, right? I mean, this is what the world is all about. This is what we're made of. And you can see the connectedness, the interconnectedness, because at the top of the whole darn thing is source, right? And then there's the light and sound fields, and then there's the individuation of the whole thing, and then there's you as an individuation. This blueprint works at the literally every single level up through the cosmos. Our planet is part of this as well. In fact, our planet, I believe, has this station right here, and it's currently moving into this station here. It's moving from that to that, and that's beautiful, right? I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. So anyway, I wanted to share that. I hope that you enjoyed it today. A little something else to chew on and help you stay on the journey and recognize how special it is and how real it is, and keep your focus off of the emotional aspects, because it's those emotional aspects that pull us down, pull us into tarot. Not that tarot is not, beautiful for just like, your own individual kind of readings and things like that, but it is kind of nice to, study something that's going to keep you from going down the emotional track or attaching to the ideas of the outcome or trying to, figure out what to do in the 3D. That's just not the role of the divine feminine, is not to work in the 3D. Again, another topic for another day, really what your role is in the higher realms, in the higher dimensions, and what the divine masculine's role is in the 3D, because that's really where things come into fruition and into the wholeness of the twins merging in union, coming into physical union. And so we have to stay out of that 3D arena when it comes to getting into inner union and then setting it up, right? Setting up the possibility of that 5D union. So 5D, excuse me, the physical union. So I think that's all. We're going to just wrap this up here. I think we'll wrap it up here. I hope this was fun and interesting. Certainly share your comments with me. I've just so many different ideas, and I think you're going to wrap it with that. Thanks. Have a great rest of your day.